Welcome everyone, this is WCS predictions coming in hot for my stream. WCS groups just got announced for WCS Winter EU and NA. This is EU, and then I'm going to check at NA one. These are high level, and I'm talking high level production skills. We're working from paint, and this is live, so you know it's high level, okay? He chose to paint over us. Well, I had to move Twitch chat, come on. Okay, so the way I'm going to do it is one player, I'm going to say no way is going to advance from the group. One player is going to be most likely advancing from the group, and then a yellow color means that maybe I see an upset, you know? So I'm going to pick two players, which are going to be the green color. Yellow is going to be like maybe an upset, and then red is going to be eliminated, okay? So let's go and start from the beginning. So I'm gonna just start with, I mean, Thermal has, you know, I mean, he's pretty good, right? Him and Hero Marine are probably the best Terrans in Europe, together with Soul, I guess. But Goblin, I mean, I'm not a great player, but I've had very close games with Goblin where I beat him, he beat me, and Euthermal is way better Terran than I am, so it's safe to say that he's gonna go through. Euthermal always slaps Bly. He beats Rail, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, those are my predictions. Now the way it works, okay, it says the first match of each group will be 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 seed. So what's gonna happen? Can I? Ooh, I can do this as well. Okay, so this is the production level just got increased by a lot, by the way. So check this out. Use the circle tool, like this. Ooh. Dude, this production, holy. Blizzard, if you need me to work on WCS events as far as like, you know, graphs and artwork go, just give me a call. So Euthermal is a go-through, for sure. Now, so it's Euthermal versus Rail. That's something we have to remember, right? Or Euthermal versus Goblin. So Euthermal is going to beat Goblin. Goblin is, I think, 16-year-old. He's inexperienced. So I think he's going to struggle, especially against someone like Euthermal. And then we're going to have Bly versus Rail. Now, I'm not actually sure what their win record between one another is, but Bly is cheeky, but Rail is also cheeky. I do think that Bly has an edge there, for sure. Now, actually, I'm just gonna take whole day if I talk too much. I think that Euthermal and Bly will pass through. I think that Rail plays weird, but Bly plays weirder, so he has an upper hand there, for sure. I feel like. And then if a match between Bly and Goblin happens, pretty sure Bly is just gonna take it, because again, Goblin is not that experienced. Rail has pretty good PvP, so I'm gonna give it. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna go like this. Like, I love Goblin. I think Goblin is one of the best up-and-coming players, but I think these three guys just have way more experience compared to him. And he's still young, and I don't think he's at the level of Raynor and Clem and, you know, someone like, who's that other kid? Oh no, it's Raynor and Clem, yeah. So I don't think he's at that level yet. So I'm going to have to go with these picks. I don't see Goblin advancing, not necessarily because of skill. If Goblin plays at his top level, he can win. But I just think that the guys are more experienced. That's it. If he was playing against more normal players, quote-unquote, maybe he would stand a better chance. But Rail and Bly play really weird, and Euthermal is just super good. So next group. Hero Marine, Mana, Shadone, and Skills. Now, Hero Marine is an insta-pass. The reason for that is Hero Marine's TVP is very good. Like, I know he complains about TVP quite a lot, but his TVP is really good. Like, really, really good. I feel like his timings are on point, and I don't really see these guys taking games from him. I would not be surprised if he advances 4-0. Mana is someone that can definitely beat Hero Marine, but the problem is Mana's playstyle is bad against Hero Marine's playstyle. Hero Marine is very like camp and then moves across the map and kills you, and Mana is like, you know, pressure, harassment, and Hero Marine I feel like just doesn't die against that, doesn't take damage, so I think Mana is gonna get slapped. Shadone is a little not cheesy, but tricky, I would say, and Skillus, I don't even know how he got in, to be honest, but let's just do one of these. Now, Mana's PvP, I mean, it ain't no alpha star PvP, right? But it's pretty good. So I think that Mana, being the experienced player he is, whoever plays in this group, by the way, should look at this next. This is how you look at this from a pro gamer point of view. If you're any of these three Protosses, you have time to prepare. So what you say is, I'll probably get destroyed by Hero Marine, so I should not be practicing TVP. I should just practice PvP and nothing else. I should analyze all the games from Mana, Shadone, and Skillus, whichever player you are, and just focus on PvP, and then prepare something super weird against Hero Marine. That's what I would go for. Because Mana is a more experienced player, I think Mana is going to advance, and I know this might be like favorite picks, but I think experience plays quite a lot in these kinds of tournaments, so I gotta give it to two of them. And I think skill-wise, Hero Marine and Mana are way better than these two, while this group is much closer in skill as far as these three players go. Even though Bly's higher MMR, he is relying on cheesing rather than just straight-up plays. Oof, this group! Now, okay, I'm just gonna start with a negative. I used to be in team with Bratok. I think that, you know, he's been consistently very good player over the years, but I think that he's a little bit outmatched here. A little bit. Yeah, I don't see him winning these games. Now, I do want to say, I remember seeing Braddock winning Hearthstone in the qualifiers. I think he won 2-1. But I don't see him advancing the group. So, one thing I forgot to mention is, by the way, so it's going to be Hero Marine versus Skillus, which Hero Marine is going to win, and Mana versus Shadone. Now, that match can go both ways, but even if Mana loses, he's going to win the rematch. I guarantee it. But even if Mana wins, he's going to be playing against Hero Marine, probably going to get bopped, and then probably going to win whoever comes in PvP in the deciding match. Now, again, Braddock, I just don't see him advancing this group. I think these guys are going to prepare. Hearthstone lost to him in the qualifiers, but I think that the games from what I've seen were very fast tank bunker pushes, and I don't think Hearthstone is going to lose to that again, especially not to the same player, because he's going to know what's going to happen. Now, the player that will advance, in my opinion, is definitely Laser. Laser has been extremely good for very long. But this is where I turn it around. I think Starbuck is going to advance instead of Hearthstone. I don't think Hearthstone will be advancing, but I think Laser advances for me 100%, and then it's between Hearthstone and Starbuck. But Starbuck is, for those that maybe don't know him, he's not very active pro player, but when he plays, he is extremely good. Starbuck is one of the very few Zerg players that are very smart in EU, because I feel like a lot of Zerg players in EU just, you know, drone mass units go across the map kind of gameplay. Starbuck understands the game, which not only Zerg players, but I feel a lot of players don't. like super in depth. And I think he understands the game. He can prepare well if he cares to prepare well. Which I think he will. I think he's gonna practice for WCS, and I think he's gonna beat Harstem, and he might even make an upset in beating Elaser. So the matches that are gonna be happening is Elaser versus Braddock. I don't see Elaser losing that. I just don't. That's a 2-0 in my book. And then Harstem versus Starbuck. I definitely see Starbuck winning. And if Harstem actually loses the first match, he might go into a tilt and end up losing to Braddock as well. So Harstem might go out first. This would be like an extreme upset because I think, again, Harstem is the experienced player. But yeah, those are my picks. Okay, next. Group D. Lambo, Denver, Hellraiser. Okay, we're just going to go quickly through this group. Actually, let me take that one back. I'm sorry, but I don't see these guys. I don't see these guys advancing. I just don't. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Actually, I should have painted Starbuck. Oh, this is the production, by the way. It's very good. I should have painted like this. There we go. Perfect. I think both Harstem and Starbuck is like a 50-50. Now, this group D, Lambo versus Geralt, he will smash him into retirement. I don't think there's any way for Geralt to win. I've played Geralt many times. He is like 6.4, 6.5k Protoss, but Lambo is way higher. Lambo's like 6.8, 6.9k. So, yeah. Now, what do we have? What did I do there? Now, Denver and Hellraiser. A lot of people are, I feel like, sleeping on Denver. I think Denver is really good right now, skill-wise. I actually watched VOD Denver versus Showtime, and Showtime ended up winning barely 2-1. I think Denver is super good right now, and I think he actually might advance first over Lambo, even. We'll see what happens. I don't know who's going to be first, who's going to be second, but I definitely see either or, Denver or Lambo being first in the group, and then the Protosses are just going to get smashed. Hellraiser plays a bit weird, so that can help him. Hellraiser is the type of player that has very good timings. I just don't see it working against Lambo in Denver. They're not really cheesy. They're not really risky. They're just both kind of solid, and that's it. So, yeah. Okay, next. We have Group E. Nurchio, Petit Drogo, Cass, and Gung-Fu. Oof. This is a... Oof. Is this group of... Oof. It's not group of death. But this is the second hardest group, in my opinion. Yeah, I would say this is the second hardest group out of these 8. I think Group C is probably third hardest group. Group E is the second hardest group, and the hardest group is Group F. Now, Nurchio has been, I'm not going to say slumping, but yeah, he has been slumping a little bit. He hasn't been like doing well recently. I'm not sure how much he's practicing. I'm not sure how much he's playing, but I haven't seen Nurchio do well, I feel like, in a while. Petit Drogo is also kind of like a question mark for me. I know more about Cass and Gung-Fu at this point than Nurchio Petit Drogo. Oof, this group is hard, to be honest. I'm trying to think. Gung-Fu actually finished super high on the ladder. He's like ranked 13, 14 GM. So he's been climbing. I know that Cass is like 6.4, 6.5k. Petit Drogo and Nurchio should both be like 6.7k and up. So this group is very hard to call. I honestly don't know. So I'm gonna just do one of these for this group. Because none of these guys are like, in my book, 100% to advance, but none of these guys are also like, oh, this guy's gonna lose. I don't know. I think anyone can win in this group, to be honest. And the reason for that, I don't know what the current skill level of Nurture and Pletrogo are. If it's like the old prime time, they should be advancing, but I don't know if that's the case. So, yeah, I'm gonna go like this, to be completely honest. I don't know. Group F. Now this is the group of death. You always have a group of death. No love for Nemesis Nurture. I mean, it's not no love. Like I said, if Nurture is like his normal skill level, like really good, I definitely see him advancing. But there's two Protosses. Nurture is always shit against Protoss. And Nurture is playing Protoss first match. I don't know. I think that group is like, maybe I would say Cass has least chance to advance out of these four, but I think anyone can advance, if that makes sense. Okay, so group of death is the group F. Oof. 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 I think this is gonna be... I think this is gonna be the decision for this group. I think that like Soul is very good, and a lot of people are sleeping on like Soul. Like, he's very good. He underperforms at tournaments at times, but I think skill-wise, Raynor and Soul are the highest. I think Marine Lord, obviously he came back recently. He's improved a lot, like a lot, in the past however many months since he came back. But I don't think he's there yet. Yeah, Soul doesn't do well when it matters. I agree with that. But I believe Soul is going to do well here. I think that Soul is going to look at his group, realize that people are not going to think he's going to advance, and then he's going to try super hard and go for it. A DNS is also someone that underperforms, but I think that Soul is just skill-wise better. And I don't think Marine Lord is ready yet. But, I mean, there's like 2 weeks till the matches start, so that's why I put DNS and Marine Lord yellow. Like, they might advance, but I think Raynor and Soul will go through. Because the first match is Raynor versus Marine Lord, right? And, like, I don't mean this in like a, well, I beat these guys, but I beat Marine Lord with my Protoss and my Zerg. And if I beat Marine Lord with my Zerg, pretty sure Raynor can beat him too, right? Because his Zerg is probably like 50 times better than mine. And yes, I'm sure that I would get ranked versus Marine Lord in a best of 5 if I played Zerg. But still, yeah. Because, for example, I don't see myself beating Soul with my Zerg, right? So, yeah. Or beating Raynor with any of my races. So, those are my picks. Okay, well, let's just make sure that we got this one covered. Actually, let's just give him more greens. Oh, that one looks bad. Okay. Well, Cyril is definitely going to be advancing. I think that's pretty obvious, right? I feel like I need a different color for Cyril. I don't think he's going to lose a map. Now, this group is not that strong. Not that strong. I'm going to just go ahead and do one of these. Now, this is why I selected this. Soul Spirit is honestly someone I ladder a lot. You guys know I stream a lot. I haven't met him too much. And when I do meet him, he's not like 6.6k. I don't think he's going to be advancing here. I just don't see it. Cyril 100% advances. He's going to destroy everyone in this group. And then if you asked me 6 months ago who advances second, I'd say Namshar for sure. But in the recent times, and maybe this is just me, but I haven't seen Namshar as much, right? Like, I haven't seen Namshar pop out as much and, like, take these games. I remember every tournament I would see Namshar, you know, go into it and, like, beat Elaser 2-0 or, like, beat Nurture 3-0. And people would be like, whoa. But I haven't seen that in a while from him. Meanwhile, Ziggy, the 3-Rex proxy lord, Jesus of proxies, has been improving. I gotta say, has been improving. He still doesn't type GG, but he's been climbing that ladder, right? And because I'm uncertain of Namshar's skill, and Ziggy, I've seen him take some good players in TVZ. I think he has a shot of advancing second. Obviously, Cyril's going to wipe the floor with him. Let's not kid ourselves here. But depending on the day, I definitely see that match going to either or one of them. Now, the thing is, they play second, right? Or they play after Cyril and Soul Spirit. So Namshar versus Ziggy is going to be the second match. And this can go two ways. It will either, one of the players will dominate. Let's say Namshar, wins, and then they rematch after in the last match and Namshar wins again. Or if Ziggy wins barely in their first match, then Ziggy or Namshar beats Soul Spirit, and then they rematch in the final match. I definitely see Namshar taking it. So it's all going to depend, I feel like, how the first of their match goes. Because if one player dominates quite hard, I feel like he's just going to take the rematch as well. But if it's super close, it can go either way. And also the player that loses is going to have some time to kind of rethink the match and maybe change up the strategy or whatever. So we'll see. And then Group H, Showtime. I mean, come on, bruh. Showtime is just too solid, and Showtime has a very easy job here. And also Ziggy, by the way, I forgot. Ziggy only needs to practice one matchup. Only needs to practice against Zerg. And that's also something that a lot of people kind of not pay attention on that. It's a lot easier going into a group where you only do one matchup, and that's it. But it's also a weakness in a way, because people are going to see what you're doing versus other Zergs in the group. So they're going to know your playstyles. But skill-wise, you can become much better in that matchup than the other guys by just practicing one matchup. So you either have to be super solid in one build, or you got to mix it up quite a bit, because they're going to see your strats. Now, Showtime, I mean, even if you had a different group, I would definitely pick him to advance. He is the best EU Protoss, right? He's the most solid. And I don't think these guys threaten him in beating him. He only needs to practice one matchup as well. I don't think there's any player out of this group that I would say has no chance of advancing. If anything, I would actually say sort of is going to lose. I don't know if I should mark sort of with red. Not because his skill level is very, very high. But sort of does not do well in ZVZs. And I don't think anyone from here is going to be beating Showtime in PvZ. And sort of ZVZs historically really bad, like Stefanos basically. They both lose ZVZs all the time. Now, Hate Me is someone that I think is kind of, one of the players that are kind of dark horses, like Starbuck. And I think he has the chance to advance this group. Zanster has always been really good. But all these three players, some of them, I think, sort of, and Zanster are in Korea. Or maybe just sort of, I'm not sure. So they're kind of like a little bit of a question mark. But it is ZVZ, so I definitely see these three guys both, or all three going through second. So we will see. Now, if you guys like this kind of content, by the way, I'll do a round of 16 predictions as well. especially now that the new year is in, so we're gonna see. There's been quite a while since we had a big tournament, so we don't really know what skill level players are. This is just me basing this on my ladder experience against these guys, and also basing it on previous tournament experience. But we might see some players that I even mark red that advance just because they improved so much from the last time I played them or saw them in a tournament to when their matches are. Now, yeah, I'm going to do this for round of 16 as well if you guys enjoy this kind of content. But let's take a look at the NA one, because that's going to be a shit fest. That's going to be Clown Fiesta. Alright, give me a second. Okay. Now let's pick the NA one. Oof, ooh, Clown Fiesta right here. Okay. So, I'm obviously gonna probably be way off. I think I'm gonna predict the EU much better for the simple reason of, me not actually knowing NA players as well. But let's just get into it. This is the Americas WCS troops. Alright, let's start with the obvious one. Group A, special. I mean, come on. He's pretty good, right? I think he's definitely going to be advancing. Now, the other three players are very interesting. So, I know... I've played against Eric. I haven't played against M. Canning, like, in a long-ass time. But, we did see M. Canning beat Neeb in the tournament. He beat him 3-2. But I saw those games, and those were very cheeky games. And he outplayed Neeb in strategic point of view, but obviously not in the skill-wise point of view. So, Special versus M. Canning is the first match. I mean, I know there's probably some of you guys that are fans of M. Canning, but he's gonna get stomped. Like, there's no way he wins Special. No freaking way. Tudming, obviously he's Chinese player. We have like no info how good he is. But I do think that Chinese players practice on Korean server most of the time. Does anyone know who actually won the Chinese tournament? Was it Time again? But I do think that Tudming will be going through second. I don't have a lot of info on these guys. I don't think Eric will be advancing second, and depending if M. Canning's win against Neeb was just a fluke or no, we're gonna have to see. But I do think Tudming will be advancing simply because he practices on Korean server. M. Canning has a chance because the other two players are PVZs. So if he looks at this, he should say, okay, I'm not going to bother practicing PVT too much. I should focus on PVZ and try to advance the group in that way. Actually, Turkey Dano is in the chat. You probably know way more than me on NA players, right? What would you say about these picks? We need your approval. Anyway. Yeah, those are my picks. Maybe I'm Canning, but I think Tudming has this one. Now, Group B. I mean, I'm going to go obvious with Scarlet. Scarlet's been practicing in Korea for long-ass time. So, Mechanics PVZ sucks ass. Well, then he's probably going to not advance then. So, expect. I have no idea what to expect from this guy. Expect versus Epic. Oof. This is me predicting NA. I don't know these players. Like, I know them, but I don't know them. I don't know how good they are. But Like, I've played Pili Pili before, and there was a time he was good, but does he even practice now? Pili been playing for like 3 weeks? Okay, well, we're gonna do one of these then. If he's not active, then, you know. Um... Yeah, I think Canning is like has his like good moments, but he's very inconsistent. Now, Epic is someone I played against. I think if he's the guy that plays with you, I think he has some good timings, but I don't know anything about Expect. So I'm gonna just say like this. I think this is a safe pick, especially if Pili Pili is not playing or practicing. Then you know. Here we have the retired Kellezer that's still participating in every single tournament. He's gonna be advancing. I mean, I'm just gonna I just I mean I don't know who Vindicta even is. Demi, I've heard of him, but Cham and Kellezer are well-known pro gamers, and it's very rare to have someone new, quote unquote, come and beat pro gamers in an official tournament. Vindicta is a former map hacker? Oh, that sounds familiar actually. Oh yikes, and he's playing in WCS? No chance for Vindicta? Dude, I don't know who he is. Like, if someone that's involved into the scene have never heard of someone, and they're from NA or EU, they're probably not that good, right? I mean, he's probably GM, right? But I don't think he's, yeah. Like, I would still be amazed if any of one of these two guys advances. I would be amazed. Not even advances if they win one match against Kellezer or Cham. So, yeah. Okay, next one. Neeb is obviously going to advance. Neeb is in a super good form. Go Joey! One of my favorite players in the world. Oof. I'm just going to do one of these boys. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I think most of you guys know Jim Rising, and most of you guys would pick Jim Rising. But it's ZVZ, okay? I've actually played Rex in WSG in China in 2016, and I had no info on him. I ended up winning 2-1, but he was much better than I thought. And this was when I was like peak of my skill. So he surprised me then, and I remember he had a very unique and weird style. He did not play like the other Zergs. And like I said, this is ZVZ, so anyone can go through, right? I think that Cham is better Zerg than Jim Rising. And if Cham was in this group, I would say Cham and Neeb advance, but I'm not sure what the skill level between three of these guys is, plus it's ZVZ, so you know how that goes. Now, the obvious pick here is going to be Time. I've actually seen, now someone mentioned it earlier, but I remember checking the bracket for the Chinese tournament. Time stomped everyone, and Time has been a player that's kind of been good for quite a while, and participates in a lot of Korean tournaments. Sometimes has really good wins, sometimes gets wrecked, but he's a very active player, practices a Korean server. He's also in the No Regrets team house, I think, in South Korea right now. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know he's a very good player from the games that I've seen, so I think he will be advancing. Probe, Future, or Disc? Okay, so I'm gonna give my reasons for this. I don't know much about Disc, so I don't think he has enough experience. at these like high level big tournaments. Probe is someone that I feel like people always say he's gonna do well, and he thinks he's gonna do well, but then he loses to like C tier EU semi-pros. I don't see him winning. Now, the reason why I picked Future, I'm not one of those people that like, okay, Future, for those who don't know, is a, like, I think 18-year-old, 16-year-old kid that won one of the, I think it's Chisadelphia, and everyone is like, oh my god, Future is the next special. No. Future beat some really good players, and I think he actually beat Special, 3-2. But the games, he has very aggro kind of playstyle that is good in tournaments, but I don't think skill-wise he's very good. Like, I don't think he's going to touch time. I don't think he's going to be close to beating time. But I do think that because he won Chisadelphia, and he won against Puck, and he played very aggressive. Like, he was constantly up in his face, right? And that's why I think he's going to beat both Probe and Disc if it comes to it. He's going to get wrecked by time. Time is just too solid, I think. So I do see Time winning this group and then Future coming in second with a lot of aggression against the two Protosses that are just going to and lose against him. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Probe, also advances. But I think Future will advance here. That's why I didn't put yellow, because I'm 80% sure Future will advance. I only put like yellow if it's like 50-50, right? If it's like, well, both of them can advance, but I think Future has the advantage there. Just because of that Chisadelphia win, he's going to be more, kind of comfortable playing in the tournament. This is NA, why aren't all circles red? Come on. Well, because someone has to advance. Okay, so next thing, Massa. Massa has definitely dropped off in skill, but his group, in my opinion, is pretty weak compared to him, even though he's not playing as much. So I do think Massa will be advancing. Now, I have no idea who this is. And the thing is, if this guy was super high on the ladder, on Korean ladder or an NA ladder, people would have mentioned it. Like, oh, did you see that guy is popping off? But I've literally never heard of him. So I don't think he'll be advancing, especially if he's never played in a high-level tournament. Where there will be a lot of pressure, there will be tens of thousands of people watching you. So, yeah. There's been a lot of hype on Astria. I don't remember me playing against him, and I don't remember seeing his games. Jon Snow has way more experience in tournaments than he does, though. I'm gonna do a double yellow here. I do think Jon Snow will advance second, but a lot of people have been hyping up Astria. But I think Jon Snow will be advancing, but I'll put yellow because I'm not sure. It's kind of like a random dart throw in there. Scyther, TLO, Silky. I can tell you who's not gonna advance. I don't think Silky is on the level of the other three guys. So I don't think he'll be advancing. Now, Scyther, TLO, and Coffee. I've seen some really good games from Scyther. I've seen some really good games, but I've also seen some really bad games. TLO is a player that plays very tricky, and if his random massing Zerglings at random times doesn't work, he's probably just gonna get wrecked. But if it does work, it creates chaos, and then it's very hard to recover from then on. And Coffee is I think Coffee is the Chinese Terran that's in the No Regrets house. I think. Silky could easily advance? I don't know. I don't know about that.
He's from America. Oh, they put the groups together? Oh no, this is America.
Silk is the one that beat Neeb in one of the challengers? Didn't he just all in though? Okay. I don't know much about the current form of Sather, Silky, and Coffee. I'm just gonna do this. I don't think that... I think TL... Like, everyone here can go first or fourth, in my opinion. I do think Coffee... Like, I have a feeling about Coffee, because I like Coffee. So I do have a feeling he's gonna advance. But... yeah, I don't know. This group is a question mark for me. Let me signal that as well. With a question mark. There you go. Production levels are off the charts. Anyway, last group has Puck, Firefly, and Psyark. Now, Psyark is a player I've played against before. He's a Japanese player that's been in the scene for a very, very long time. And I've actually seen some cool games from him in the past. I think this is his first WCS event, if I'm not mistaken. Firefly, I have no idea who he is. I feel like every Chinese player in the tournament is a question mark. Because they're playing on a Korean server and we don't really know much about their scene. But I feel like every time Chinese players play in a tournament, I feel that people always underestimate them and then Chinese just do really well. I mean, they end up falling to, like, you know, Showtime, Cyril, Laser, Thermal. But I feel like when they play against a little bit less skilled players, they always win. I'm gonna go with Haas advancing. I think Haas's experience in tournaments will win. Obviously, skill-wise, I mean, Haas is not the most skilled player. He's the most tricky player, but not extremely skilled player. But this is the thing about Haas. Everyone expects him to cheese, and everyone will be playing scared, and that's why Haas is gonna win the group. Because people are killing themselves playing against Haas. Every time I played against extremely cheesy player, what I did is I cheesed them. Why? Because no one cheeses them, and they have no idea what to do in that situation. The worst thing you can do against a cheesy player is play standard, because they know that. They're literally made to play against that, right? They know when someone expands what they can do. They know if they do weird cheese where the game is at. But if you play against Haas and you proxy him with like 3 racks or something like that, or just do something weird to him, that's where you try to throw him off. Or you can just play super solid and defend. But I think he has way more experience than any of these guys in tournaments. I think Punk has a lot of tournament experience, but I think Haas is just better. Not necessarily skill-wise, but he's a better player. Cheese, sure, but, you know, win is a win. And again, because Firefly and Psyark, I don't know what their skill level is. I'm just gonna go with 3 yellows. I'm just gonna go like this. Like I said, you can see a lot of yellows on the NA side. I was more confident on the EU one, but yeah, there's just a lot of question marks between these guys. So I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm actually really excited for the WCS matches. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. Especially if you're from the NA scene or Asian scene and you know more about these players than I do. But yeah, that's pretty much it, boys. That's pretty much it. I'm very excited to see WCS and see how it turns out. And you know, I didn't qualify, but I can always watch. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out one of my previous videos. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a very nice day, and I'll see you guys next time.